Welcome to the Thursday edition of the Spark Creativity Teacher Podcast, a podcast for English teachers in search of creative teaching strategies. Whether you're new to the show or a longtime listener, I'm so glad you're here for today's edition of Highly Recommended. This week, I want to share 2 quick ways to make back to school night something you can actually enjoy this year. Okay, so we all know back to school night can be very stressful, very rushed, and very crowded. And what I'm going to suggest are just some simple ways to take the pressure off you and just make it a quick, interactive experience for parents coming through. So even if you just have a few minutes with your parents, as long as it's at least like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I think you can try these strategies, and I hope they will be helpful. So my number 1 tip for back to school night is to take the pressure off you and get your parents up and moving with stations. Stations are such an easy way for you to get what you want to get across out to your parents without having to stand up in front of a packed room and sweatily give the same talk over and over again all throughout the night. So with stations, you have parents come in, you can have them get going through the stations right from the get-go, or you can wait until everybody gets there and is sitting down and then just say hey, this is my name, this is the class. I'm so excited for you to have some of the active learning types of experiences that your students have and stand up and move through these stations. And here's what the different stations are. And then have them get up and start walking around. And you can make your stations anything you want, anything that you would be hoping to get across to your parents, or forms you want them to fill out, or notes you want them to write to your students. Any of the activities that you would normally include in your short presentation, you can probably include in stations. So let me give you a couple of quick examples. At one station, they might pick up an info sheet about the class with your email address and your class website and, the syllabus, just kind of the basic info station. And that might be a place where you hang out and answer questions and just get to know as many parents as you can. Then there might be another station where they explore the library, and anything you need doing at the library, you can have them do there. Maybe you want them to sign up to give guest First Chapter Friday readings or book talks from a parent's perspective. Or maybe you have little cute recommended reading sheets that they can fill out, like little tiny squares like you see at a bookstore, and it can say, parents recommend, and then they can look for a book that they like in your library and write a quick review of it that you can actually tape to your shelf, just like, again, you would see at a bookstore. And kids can see the perspective of their parent community or guardian community. Maybe there's a station where they write an encouraging note to their kids that you can pull out when their student is having a hard time. Or a station where they can see a whole bunch of cool work from the past, like amazing projects your students have done, papers they've written, just to kind of give parents a lens on what the creative work of the student is going to be like. Maybe there's a form filling out station because you need some basic information. Whatever you need from that night and whatever you want to get across, consider making a station out of it, because it really will take so much pressure off you, allow you some one-on-one time with parents who need it, and also just make the whole night more fun for you. Okay, my second tip, and there are only 2, is to make use of QR codes on back to school night. Think about anything that you want to put in front of parents easily that you want them to take home on their phone. See if you can just create a QR code poster or a little handout at the station, or a QR code on that takeaway sheet that parents are going to take home, that can give them access to whatever you want them to have access to. Maybe it's the class website and you'd like them just to walk out of there looking at the class website. So you put a QR code with the class website, a short little statement about how to access it through the QR. Turn on your camera, point your camera toward the QR code, then you'll see our class website. Or maybe you need them to sign up for some kind of parent communication tool or a translation app or anything that you want them to have on their phone. A QR code is a way to make it really simple instead of having them type something into their phone. It's much simpler even than like a Bitly link. My last idea for the QR code, you can share an Amazon wish list this way. If you know that parents are wanting to donate books to your library, you can have one in the library station that says like, hey, want to donate a book? I'd love that. Here's our Amazon wish list with our, top favorites for book clubs this year. Or maybe you know that parents are going to want to donate Kleenex and whiteboard markers or whatever. You can have that at the info station. Wondering what we need for class this year? That's so nice. Here's a quick scan to see our wish list of necessary supplies. Thank you. QR codes can make it really easy to subtly share the internet reference points that you want to share. All right, so it's quick, 2 quick tips, but I think these 2 quick tips can really transform back to school night for you and make it a much more pleasant situation. So I highly recommend you try using stations and QR codes to make this a night you can actually look forward to this year. Thanks so much for joining me today. Until next time, take care of yourself and stay creative.